right? Thought this would be good to do this while a storm's happening, hurricane's actually happening, whatever. So, yeah, before I say anything, though, if someone's supposed to do this with me, but he's taking too long to write back to me or whatever, so who cares? But, but before I say anything, I hope that everybody is doing great. I know we've lost some people. I remember someone told me that Lindsay, he overdosed apparently. I actually still have a game with him in my films. I literally do. I have a game with him. He was my little trapper. He helped me hit some spawn traps. He was my little practice thing, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, he was a good friend. And I know I say that a lot, but it really means a lot to me when I can't really express it any other way. I know he's doing better now. If he did, I mean, a few people said it, so it's got to be true. I mean, could have been a joke, but it didn't seem like a joke at all. And to anybody else, you might find this offensive. You might find some of it bad. I will put all good things in and bad things. I was just going to go ahead and do bad things, but I think I'm going to do both because I like to give credit where it is deserved, but I also like to discredit from what was not. And this is just going to be what I believe. This is going to be how I see it. I've actually wanted an opportunity to do this for myself. I want to be able to look back on it. And mainly for me. So these are some questions I was going to ask Nadiak, actually, because he was supposed to do this with me, but he's afraid to talk shit about anyone anyway. But if you did make up with someone, if they are your friend, then they would understand that, even though they're being hypocrites, or if they're being self-important, or if they can't freaking expose themselves in the light, then they shouldn't be your friend anyway, because they're not going to be a real friend to you. They're just a friend of themselves, which I will say right now about it. I'll get to that too. Dealzu being one of them. That nigga, I doubt he's anybody's friend. He's just there to feel good about himself. He's not there for anything else. I bet he still rides his own cocktail, just like a lot of them. His recent video says a lot about that. But we're not here to talk about him first. We'll get to him. His name's on this list. Now, I didn't want this video to be long originally. Originally, I wanted this video not to be too long. I don't know how long it's going to be, though, at this point. But I also want to put in that I care about y'all a lot. I had a very great connection with the community. I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to give something. I'm not going to say anything that gives anybody any leverage. I'm not going to say anything to deleverage anybody. I'm just going to tell you what I think is true. If you have a shitty personality, you did. If you weren't good at your own character, that's what you were. If I think you could have done better, you definitely could have. And that goes for anybody that I say right now, anyone I even mention on this list. This is strictly what I want to put out. It can come off as disrespectful or respectful. I do not care. To me, this is just something that is simply the truth, and it's my take on it. It's my expressions. But even after, just know this is not to harm anyone. This isn't to downgrade anybody. That's what you guys like to do. And this is not to give any points. I don't care. I already know none of you. I doubt anybody that comes to Cold War would challenge me on that game at all. I'd probably beat anybody on Cold War right now, so I don't really care about that. I don't even have a good enough TV to play anyone on BO2, so I'm not even going to say anything about that. But okay, some of the questions I was going to ask Nadia, I'll ask them to myself. So question 1, who do you think was a bad player that thought they were good? Now, I wanted to ask him this, and he could have said, I'm thinking, I don't really know who he would have said, but if I had to pick the number one person, if I had to pick number one, it would have to be Permu, because and we'll get to him later. I'm just going to say Permu though, and you'll see why later. Who do you think was good and didn't get what they deserved? I personally, now like I said, this is just from what I felt and then what I've seen, okay? I've been in a community for a while. Some people think I'm lying, but I've been in the community for a while to know a lot of things that I do know. But didn't get what they deserved. A lot of people didn't get what they deserved, sadly. A bunch of you. Even people that are on this list, most of you didn't get it, which I think is sad to me. I feel like words are not enough to describe the credit that you did not get. I think most of the credit went to the top players, and I think that's pretty messed up, because that's just called glorifying, and I'm not here to glorify anybody. I think everybody was good in their own right. Some were better at this, others struggled at that, and others did not have something that they could have had. But didn't get what they deserved. I feel like this is a question for a lot of people, so I'm just going to say that yes, some people did not get a chance to reach what they could have reached, me included. I didn't have that chance that all of you had. They didn't have the leverage that some of you had. They didn't have the chances that you had. Their life was probably not in a good place. There's a lot of different reasons why that they could not reach what they could have been. Did you know much about female players? I really wanted to ask him this. There's female players on Cold War that are really good, and I think female players are very underlooked. Now, a few people don't see it that way, but the majority does. Now, I think Aruba, she got her credit, but I feel like she didn't. I feel like after a while, nobody brung her up anymore. And I've seen her play. I mean, I know she definitely did, I think, have better frames than I did. I mean, most people did. I was broke, whatever, right? I didn't have the capability to get more power, more FPS. I didn't have the technology. I didn't have any way of getting it. But I'm not going to push away somebody's skill, though, just because they have that. I know a lot of people think that, but I know how good somebody is even when they have it. And I can tell if it's just the fact that you're speedy, or is it because you're actually like that? Is that speed just a crutch for you, or would you be better off without it? If anything, that's what I'm here to frickin' judge. That's what I'm going to be judging, pretty much. I'm not judging of who you beat. I'm not judging what you lost to. I'm here to judge what I thought of you and what I seen from you. Because like I said, this is from me. And Aruba, so much potential. I'd like to say as a female, because we all know that they're not as driven to games as we are, as guys. We are a lot more willed than they are. I mean, and that's just because of how we're made compared to how they were. So they don't have the same things that we do when it comes to that, especially when it comes to war, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to passion. It's the spirit. Not that they cannot achieve this, not that they aren't something, not that they cannot get to a certain place, because Aruba was better than most of y'all. She was better than most of you. And the only reason she lost to some of you is because you had more frames than she did. And she was better than you. So a lot of games that people did play, you guys, to me, you didn't get beaten by anybody. It wasn't fair to you. Now, a lot of people might like to use the excuse word. A lot of people like to have pride, whatever. You don't want to change something. You're afraid to change it because you might think it might make you look bad. I don't think that. If it's a valid excuse or a valid point, then there's no reason you should feel anything towards yourself for saying it. Shoot. Technical difficulties, because I'll be honest, I gotta use the restroom, bro. So, oh shoot. But I can keep talking about this as I go, right? Here, we'll turn that off. So, okay. But, yeah, so I just think that it's not, it's very rude, and it's very disrespectful to you guys to have games put against you that honestly you could not even do what you could do now. I mean, now I understand if the game itself is what drove you to not be as good, then that does mean that that's your fault. That does mean that you were not, mentally strong enough or had enough willpower to get through the game. Something could have thrown you off. I think that's the only time that matters, when the game affects the way that you play, or you affect the way that the game that you play. That's what I kind of meant. You're being affected by the game's effects of who you're playing or how you're going about it. You might be making yourself frustrated, stuff like that. And that's what costs you. Many of us have fallen victim to this. Most of us were young at the time, so of course we are, right? Others were wiser to not succumb to this. But like I said, I know some of you had better reasons to succumb to this because you did not have a choice as others did. And that's what I'm mainly here to talk about that and, the bull crap, But yeah, I think that's very unfair to you. And I think that a lot of you could have done better. Things could have been different, but they were not. So I can understand how a battle is a battle and a fight's a fight. That I will not take away from anybody. And, I will honor that. I'll honor that for sure. That's not a big deal to me. But okay. But all right. I think I pretty much said everything for that. All right, so which players or player do you think was cocky and you disliked them for it? Now, there was a lot of players that were succumbed to this disease, this negativity crap, the effect it had on them. And I've said in one of my other videos, BO2 drains people. It drains you. It punishes you when you do not have good position. It punishes you when you don't have good mobility. It punishes you when you do not have the response time. It will frickin' chew you up and spit you out. But as for people that were like this, the player that I've seen, I'd have to say, I'm trying to think. It's between three people, but if I honestly had to pick somebody, it'd probably be Blazy, only because he really thinks that he's better than what he thinks he is, and I see him as one of the most easiest people to beat because he's so predictable. and he's not that smart. And his shot is good, but I think that his shot could be better. I think that he could be better if he did not succumb to being cocky, if he did not succumb to his negatives that held him back. This video, like I said, it's about exposing, but it's also about liberation. I'm here to trash you, but I'm also here to lift you up. I think Blazy, we all have different problems in life, like I said, and I could tell that his life was not easy. Whatever he was going through, how he was taking it, he's the type of person that doesn't like to share that type of stuff. He probably did with certain people. He's a very private guy, easy to see. I think he could have been a very good player, even today. But I'm still going to trash you and say that you're never better than what I was. I remember on Nuketown, yeah, it was you. And somebody dashboarded, I don't know who, but I had you down 14-9. I played you. I was playing you for post. And you were the host, actually, so you left. You left because you were scared, and that was before you got a monitor or anything. So, Blazy, you're in the same boat as Dealsy and Primsy and a few others. Before that monitor came around, I could do whatever I wanted to you. It was easy. It wasn't even hard. I wasn't, it was nothing holding me back from getting to you, because you definitely couldn't. So we're done with that one. Which players thought they were better than you and talk shit to you? So a lot of players have done this to me. They will lie and say they have never even affiliated themselves with me. They'll go as far as to say that they don't even know me. So I'll be honest, this is between X-Row and maybe L Nuketown L. Because I swear L Nuketown L thought he was better than me at Nuketown. And that's the most stupidest thing anybody could have ever said to me back then, because most of you could not trap. Now, X-Row could trap. I will talk about him later on. But X-Row, I don't think he was better than me because he didn't have the ground game. He wasn't smart. He could trap. That's it. But the thing is, I could kill him. He likes to sit and truck. I killed him. Yeah, I freaking forced him out of middle. I forced him out of it. He camped on all four corners of the map. And I literally gave him the game. I gave it to him. I said, whatever, man. If it means this much to you, because I can tell you're suffering. Yeah. And at the time, I was young. I think I was like 16 or 15. And yeah, I could just easily get him out of truck because I was smarter than him in every way. He couldn't do nothing to counter me. Nothing. Couldn't do nothing. And he fast spawned me. Yeah, that's the reason I gave him the game. Because he kept fast spawning me. He fast spawned me like 4 or 5 fucking times. Or 7 times. Every time I shot him out of the truck. He fast spawned me. Because he knew I could get him. And yeah, it was just funny at the time. And I had my own issues at the time. I was very emotional back then. And I was very confused about people how to see a friend and to see someone who's really not your friend. Very compassionate, I was always quick to connect with somebody, to bond with someone. So just in case he tries to say that I cried like a little bitch to him and shit. Yeah, man. Technically a kid. I was a kid and you weren't. You were well over my age now. I'm like 23 now. You were older than that, I think, or around there. So yeah, good job for you. And I think your ass. Whatever. So last question. Do you think people, I like this question that I put out. Do you think people that were unknown or no one ever cared to look at were worth acknowledgement? Now this question stems from because people were always paying attention to the people that were on the surface. And the way I take this, I'm very offended by it. There was a lot of good people that were unknown and they were very good. Some of these people were better than people in the top 15, top 20 that nobody knew about. I mean, I want to say top 20 and around top 11-ish, maybe top 10-ish as well. The top 5, nobody was better than probably, in my opinion, what would be a top 5. I don't think anybody. I think that's very well placed. But from the 6 to maybe 20, it could have been rearranged for sure. There are people that were very good, people that could have been very good, people that had a lot of potential. They either left the game, something happened to them, they didn't like it, they didn't take it seriously. Some very good people. I want to get on with this though, so I'm gonna go to the top of my list. So Aaron, he is first up. And I got overrated ego and thinks he's immortal. All right, so Aaron, he thought he was better than me at Nuketown as well. He thought he was better than me, period. He thought he was better than a lot. This is one of the most delusional players I've ever seen. He talks crap. He sits on the toilet. I bet shit flies right back up his ass because every part of himself is just so delicious and good and doesn't rot. This guy, he was really something. Now, other than that, he did have potential. I think his biggest downfall was that he had the curse of doing the same thing over and over. He would always sit in the front of the blue truck. That was his main spot that I remember. He was more of a defensive player. He was not good when it comes to close quarters. He was actually one of the weakest rushers I've ever seen because he doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't. I think he has a lot of insecurity issues. A lot of people on here do. I will remind you of that. Freaking Blazy has insecurities. Tetherfy's insecure. Primsy's insecure. Snowy was insecure. L Nuketown L was insecure. Extra was insecure. Those Ingers was insecure. There was a lot of people I was insecure. Whatever, right? But yeah, Aaron, and he had the potential to be a good trapper, but in my eyes, he was not a very good trapper. He could barely hit a 30 piece. He could barely hit a 20. He struggled to even hit a 20 half the time. I'm talking about consistently. He couldn't consistently do it. And like I said, ground game definitely his strong suit, but in my eyes, definitely not that good. And he wasn't even, to me, he's not even top 15. Not even. Maybe top 30. Maybe. Top, like, 35 to 30, maybe, in my eyes. All right, so Primsy, overrated. And yeah, Aaron was overrated as well. But Primsy overrated, hate and disliking me, yeah. So, now I've already made fun of him before, but yeah, Primsy was a very, very crappy person, I gotta say. For the most part. I want to sit on my chair, man. Oh my gosh. I don't even care about the storm anymore. Holy crap. I'll just do this. I just want to sit on my chair. But here, I don't want to do that. I could put it up here though, I think. Yeah, it'll be good. Go. Can't do a video while you're crying. But alright. So yeah, Primsy. I think he could have been very good though, despite him being a negligible, I haven't said that word in so long, frickin' tyrant holding up his frickin' battle axe, screaming so everybody could see him and hear him. He was such a child. That kind of describes Tetherfy a lot more, but we'll get to him in a minute. But other than him being very stupid and idiotic, he had a lot of potential. He had a lot of room to grow, and he did grow. He did. I seen it. The thing with Aaron is he never allowed himself to grow. Aaron stayed in the same place for a long time until he quit. He never got any better. And that's the issue with him. I think he could have done a lot better, and if he would have dropped a lot of the stupid antics he did, and none of us, me included, I yelled at people. I like to talk crap to people, and I didn't like a lot of people. But that did not mean that I hated anybody. I did not hate a single person. I just didn't like the way that they presented themselves towards other people and me. But yeah, very good player. I think Primsy at least deserves top 25 to maybe top 20 because he was better than most people for sure. Tethify, overrated pride and ego. This is one of the most egotistical, prideful people I've ever met on there. And it's really bad. It's not good. This is the reason. This is one of the biggest reasons why he was never better than me. I know a lot of people will sit here and say that he's done more than me, whatever. He showed more. Okay, cool. But I'm not here to judge that. I'm not here to look on that. And to me, that's just very inaccurate. It's very stupid to see it that way. Very dumb. But I'm not really here to, I'm not here to say anything about that for the most part. I just believe that he was a very good long-range player. To me, he was good at long range. He was good at wall banging. He was one of the worst spawn trappers I've ever seen. He hard scoped his traps, like every time I've seen him. Only one time or twice, maybe 3 times I've seen him quick scope. I've only seen him hit like as high as like a 20 or something, not even, whatever. Not very good at trapping. He admitted that he wasn't, so it's not really a big deal. But just like Aaron and Primsy and others, he's not very good at admitting things. And yeah, and Aaron, Primsy, and him have fake games. I forgot about that, yeah. They faked games. All 3 of them did. So they all have this problem where they can't have any self-dignity or accountability or light shed on them. They just always have to shine the light on someone else other than themselves, which a lot of people that disliked me at one point or I did not like or argued with were. They were all like this. They would use the rules to their advantage and exploit them. Tethify definitely did. Aaron definitely did. I think Aaron still posted me. I don't even know if he did. He might not even have posted it, maybe. But I played Aaron, and the only reason that the game ended up the way it did of him, quote-unquote, beating me was because his connection was garbage, BOT was garbage, and he had a monitor. And like I said, at the time, I mean, even today, but if you have more frames on BO2, man, it's going to be hard for anybody to play fairly and beat you. If you try to, play someone as if, and you don't camp on them, let's say you're trying to outplay them, most of the time they're going to outplay you no matter what. Someone has more FPS than you, they're going to get you no matter what. And it turns me off. Like I said, I will say it right now. I didn't understand it back then. I didn't even understand it for a while, but I got turned off by a lot of people I played because they were just like everybody else. They had a monitor. They had bad connection. And honestly, that was mainly what it was, and I was disgusted by it. I didn't like it. I didn't accept it. I was very unaccepting of it, and to a certain degree, that was on me. But that was the only thing that you have ever took away from me, was my inability to change and adapt. But it's hard to do that. I thought it was really hard to do that, especially in the situation I was in. I was not in a situation or a predicament to counter something like that. I know y'all remember the Superman. That Superman crap is hard to get away from. It's not easy. People see things quicker than you do. They respond quicker than you do. They're pretty much in the future, and you're in the past. So you play someone that's in the future and you're in the past, I promise you, no matter who you are, you're not gonna be able to catch them. They're gonna get you. They're gonna most likely beat you. You only have probably a 10% or 15% chance of beating them. It's not easy. It's really hard. They could be stupid. All they have to do is jump out. That's all they have to do. Jump out. Run out. most of the time you're not going to hit him because you're not fast enough. Your ADS isn't fast enough. It doesn't matter. But all right. Yeah, Tethify, he could have. He's definitely top 20 in my eyes. He could have been better. Top 20, maybe even top 15. If he could have got past all that stupid stuff, yeah. Very easy. He had the potential to be very good ground game. He's not very good at close range, in my opinion. He was very bad at it. That's the issue. Tethify, Primsy, and Aaron are very easy to trick. Super easy to outplay, in my opinion. Because they focus more on shooting. They focus more on trying to get to you rather than to finish you. Or their main objective is so narrowed when they're trying to beat somebody that they just... I feel like Tethify uses his brain a lot more smoothly than Aaron or Premzy. But the downfall of it is, to me, is that when they think that they got you, they go for it. So that's what gets them. They think that they have someone, and then that's where they downfall. Because they don't really know how to change that. The only way that they change that is by camping. Usually it's by camping, because they don't know what to do otherwise. Aruba, underrated. So I put that because I thought that it was stupid at the time. Because like I said, afterwards, I never heard her name again. I never did. Never heard it again. And I thought that was crappy. Like I said, I know she got a lot of, what she deserved. But I feel like she didn't get enough of it. I definitely were to say I give her flowers before she quit. Because that one game she did with that one guy was so impressive. I struggled with that guy. He had a monitor and everything. I struggled. She freaking played him for post. She made it look so easy. Despite her having more frames or enough frames to compete with the guy, it didn't matter. I think he had more frames than her. It wasn't by that much. It was around the same, but still. She made it look effortless compared to... And I swear, I had such a hard time against that guy. She beat the crap out of him. I don't even remember what his name was, but she fucking... It was ridiculous. She 2-0'd him. She was so dominant over him. Ever since I seen that, I knew how good she was. I knew the potential she had. I knew how great she could have been. Bible was another person that thought they were better than me at Nuketown ground game, especially ground game. He thought, oh my gosh. But Fall Victim, the same thing. He wasn't that smart as he thought. He was more shot dependent. And yeah, Overrated thinks he's the creator of all things. So I put that because he kept saying that I copied moves off of him off of Nuketown, like jumping out of the truck, or what was it? Jumping out of the truck, or something like over there by the sign, because he liked the camp sign a lot too, or the truck actually. And yeah, he just technically took like 3 moves that I made up from my style, the way that I express myself, and he said that I copied that off of him, but he copied it off of me. So Bible's another person that I used to beat all the time on Nuketown. I used to freaking whoop the heck out of him. And once he got a monitor, bro, everything changed, of course. Now, I do have latest win on him as well. I beat him on a ground game map. I never posted it because, like I said, I didn't care. I want things to be between us because I like it that way. So I can hear you make excuses and lie and whatever. Great. Because we both know it, right? And you're still suffering from it because you still won't admit it. You still gonna sit here and lie to yourself. So honestly, that's great. To me, that's great. Now, Viable, he was another person that held himself back a lot. I can tell he had a very stressful life. He didn't take it very well. He was not very good at that, the life thing. Other than his crappy personality and crappy character, and had no self control over his actions, like the others that I previously named off, except for Aruba. But I mean, Aruba, she was a little bit of a loose cannon too, but she might have looked down on people a little bit, but she wasn't, diminutive or whatever. She wasn't freaking domestic. Sure, she was looking for some action, but trying to freaking play people for post, but it wasn't like this. Like these guys that I'm talking about were just so damn grimy and scumbaggish. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Viable, I think he's like a good top 30 or top 25, maybe. Maybe even I could be pushing it, but no, I think it's good right there. Because there weren't a lot of people that were that good. If they could trap better, bro, they'd be higher. If they could trap better, in my eyes, they'd be better. But okay, Dealzoo isn't shit, ego, and self-importance. We put some videos out. Well, he put one video, I put a few. Let me move this because I'm kind of sick of raising my voice a little bit. All right. But okay, Dealzoo. Put that here. But yeah, Dealzoo. So what I think about Dealzoo is well, he just had this thing about him that he wanted to be better than everybody. And he was he was very manipulative type of person. He'll act like he's all good and all that. He'll act like he's your friend, but he'll go behind you just for a game. He'll go behind you just to make himself more known. And that's pretty much the type of person he was. And he only wouldn't do this to certain people. And this applies to most people that I'm going to talk crap about. But you guys are so entitled to the fact of that you hung around someone who was considered a top player and you acted completely different. So he's one of the fakest people I've ever come across. And I remember he beat Scrubsy. I don't even know if he really did. I don't believe that. I forgot. He only got to Scrubsy when Scrubsy didn't care anymore. When Scrubsy didn't give a crap anymore. When Scrubsy beats you at least 30 times or more. I don't even know how many, but he beat you so many times. You challenged him so many times. And you beat him like once or twice, and you think that you finally did something, but that was after that Scrubsy just stopped caring about the game. He wasn't even as motivated. His shot wasn't even the same, despite him not caring. I bet even if I knew if he had a shot and he didn't care, he still would have beat you. But the fact that he didn't have a shot, he didn't really care. He was about to retire. He didn't even really care. He already retired, as a matter of fact, and he was just coming back for fun. And I guess after he beats you like 30 or 40 times, he didn't really care anymore. I mean, I wouldn't either, to be honest. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Dealzoo, to me, he's like, I don't know, top 40, something like that. I don't think he was that good. I really don't. Now, this is just me talking from potential-wise. This is me talking about what people could have been, not what they were. I'm talking about, like, I'm going to remind you guys, I'm talking about, is that my, oh, no. But yeah, I'm talking about people that would play somebody on equal terms. I'm here to discuss equal terms, not advantages, not lag, no dirty tricks. I'm talking about actual. These people going head to head or toe to toe with someone, they are much worse than what you think they are. All right. Snowy, overrated ego pride. with a very weak mindset. Yeah, when I met Snowy, he had one of the weakest, probably the weakest mindset I've ever come across. Maybe he was one of them, top three for sure. I made up with him though, so this, like I said in the beginning, nothing, but he had a very crappy attitude, very demeaning way of looking at things. He would rather run his mouth and blow hot air out of it than to actually make sense of anything, than to actually do anything. Type of person. Now, I used to hate it when he camped on Nuketown. He'd camp on the Blue House. Blue House was his favorite, I remember. But he'll camp in either one of them for sure. But I actually beat him. I think I 2-0'd him. I don't remember. I think I beat him on Nuketown, and then I never gave him a rematch. But I think I did ended up playing him on Raid, and I beat him. Never posted it. Never posted the and we all know I love Nuketown. If I honestly, I would have posted the Nuketown game, but like I said, I didn't care. I think he dashboarded on me. He dashed on Nuketown, and he dashed on. I know he dashed on Nuketown. I don't know what happened to the raid game, so I will not sit here and say anything about the raid one. But he dashed on Nuketown because I beat him, and he knew it. He thought he was better than me at Nuketown. He wasn't. He could barely trap. He couldn't hit a trap. Another person that I caught hard scoping traps because he couldn't do it. Snowy though, I think he's around the same as Tezify, but I still think Tezify was better than Snowy, so I'll put Snowy at like 20, 25, while Tezify is at 20 or 15. Alright. So August, underrated. I feel like a lot of people didn't talk about August for a while. That really bothered me. He was a good friend to me, very good person to me. He was very good. On his good days, on the days where he was doing, very good player. That's all I really got to say about him. Nothing bad about him. Nothing bad I've ever heard about him. Probably one of the most respected players in my eyes. And I feel like he kind of got his flowers, or he did actually, but I still feel like he should have been given a bit more credit, maybe even a lot more than what he was given. At least to the spectrum, okay? Because getting it from people because I know a lot of people, if you get people are acceptant to getting praise from a top player, like a top 5 player, like if they say it, then it means something. I think that's a bunch of bullcrap. I think it does mean something, but like I said, there's a lot of things that were not seen. There's a lot of things that they didn't even have time to look at. They were too busy playing for post every day. They didn't see the stuff that I seen, that you might have seen. But you guys aren't going to be honest about that, and I am. So, that's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't think that means anything too much if a top player says something good about somebody. Everybody says something good about somebody. A lot of the stuff I know they wouldn't lie about, but they even said themselves that they're biased. They said that. They said themselves that they were biased. So, yeah, you can't really take everything they say to heart. They're very lenient people. They will give you credit only because they kind of look down on you. Because they know that if they had their shot and their ability, that you would not have been able to stand a chance against them. And I believe that because I know that for a fact. I don't think there was really anybody that could have, not when they were at their peaks. I don't think so. But that's a different, there's a few things I'm going to talk about that when I get to certain people's names on here. Alright. So, okay, Blazy, overrated. Yeah, Snowy was underrated too, by the way. Sorry about that. And of course, Dealzoo was, and yeah, whatever. I'm gonna say it again. Viable, overrated as heck. But Blazy, overrated as heck. Ego was so huge. This is the biggest ego I've ever seen in my life. thought he was better than me. Oh, man. He thought he stood a chance against people that were at the top. Move this. And I beat him too, by the way. He doesn't admit that. He doesn't, but I did. I kind of forgot what map it was on. I think it was Nuketown. Wait, and I talked about that up here. Yeah, I talked about it. It was a 14-9. It was Blazy. Yep, I already talked about it. All right. Yep, and he denies that to this day. He denies it. I beat him on ground game too. Like all these people, I played them before they got monitors, so I know how good they were. And even when they had them, they still weren't that much. I beat them when they had it. Some of them, when I got my stuff together, I did. Even though I didn't have what they had, I still got them. But to me, that doesn't mean anything because it wasn't equal. You know. Lord catch you, just a stupid idiot. He said he could mollywop me on Cold War, never did. But it's funny because he used to be a friend, kind of. Not really. Not really. But he used to be a better person. But I feel like he's overrated as well. He's like, to me, he's like top 35, top 30, maybe. Probably even lower than that. Like, backwards, probably up to the 50s. I don't know. I don't think he was that good, though. But, like I said, Lord Katsu, so I think he could have been better. I just think he had a lot of difficulties. He was having a very hard time, I can tell. He was not very easygoing, as some of you had the blessing of being, that you were gifted of. He had a very hard time, and I think that's what kept him from what he could have been. But okay, Paxry. Overrated pride and proof. So Paxry was all about the proof. I know a lot of you were. But Paxry, he could sit here and lie about having proof about something. The pride on him. He would do anything and everything just to say he's better than someone. He could kill you. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people on here, like, they'll kill you like once or twice and think that they're better than you or think that they beat you, whatever. This is one of them stupid idiots. Likes to talk a lot, run his big mouth, and really isn't crap. I still think he's at least top 30 to, I think top 30 minimum. Maybe even 35, but 30 at least. I think he had a lot of potential. He was young. He definitely had one of the best shots, for sure. He had a great shot potential. Super sure about that. Very good player, for sure. He was actually very smart, too. He wasn't that smart to me, but I think he was smarter than most people that I've named off so far. He had the potential to be. I just feel like he was not able to show it. But he definitely was. I still think Tethify, Snowy, like if I'm just talking about the people I've talked crap about so far, I think Tethify, Snowy, and Primsy were the only three that I think that were smarter than him, just because they had that one thing that could have trumped him. The rest of them, Paxry I think he could have easily swept away with them if he had his potential unlocked. The rest of them did not have that as good as potential as Paxry, to me. L Nuketown L, overrated. Pride and scared. This L Nuketown L character, man, he thought he was better than me at Nuketown. He didn't have ground game, we all know that. I beat him on frickin' Raid as well, I remember doing it. Beat him on Nuketown. I think he dashed on me. Yeah, he dashed on me because I think I played him on Nuketown like 3 times or more than that. I remember 3 games or 2 games. I beat the crap out of him, and he liked to camp the truck or the sign. Mainly the truck, though. Yeah, mainly the truck. He couldn't hit a trap for nothing. He's fast spawn. He was one of them fast spawners on me. I mean, most people. I mean, everybody I played has fast spawned on me at least once in my entire life. He fastballed me a lot of times, like a lot of others did too. Whatever. Just he's so imaginative, you know. Run your own mouth. Says that he's beaten a lot of people. He didn't. Thinks that he was one of the greatest. He wasn't. I think El Nuketown L is like top 35 to 40. Maybe, honestly, no. Like 45. I'll say 45 to 50. I don't think he was that good. Probably even further back than that. But I'll say 45. To me. Injures. Overrated himself as well. So Injures is just very self-important. He posted me a while back. He even called himself Injures the God after posting me when I didn't even agree to the Verbose game. I said I'll play, but I don't agree to it. I'm pretty sure. I said I'll play for whatever, but I didn't agree to it. For post games, they're supposed to be agreed upon in my eyes. If you try to sneak off of a post game on somebody, I think that that's very dishonorable. I don't even think it has anything to do with honor. I mean, the hell with honor, whatever, right? But I think though that if you're gonna play someone upright, then you should play them outright and not try to sneak a game on them for whatever reason. I don't care how much you dislike them. Yeah, so Andrew, so he has latest win on me. Now, yeah, I had a clear clan tag. But the only reason I actually played him was because I wanted to see how good he was. Because usually when I play someone with my shots off, like I said, I like to test them while my shot's not there, because I'm like, all right, I'm not really gonna take him seriously because my shot's not on. I'm not feeling it. So usually I test people. This is like, all right, if I'm not gonna take them seriously, if I'm not gonna play them and they're gonna play me actually, then I'm just gonna go ahead and see what you got just through what I see you do. And I'll miss a couple shots. Like if you watch this game of me versus Injures, you will see me miss. You'll see me purposely miss this guy. You'll see me outplay him a lot. And I just miss because, like I said, my shot's not on, I don't really care. I test how smart he is, how agile he is, whatever, what he can do, what he can't do, whatever. And I just know if my shot was on and I took it seriously, I had so many opportunities to kill him. And see, the first kill I get on him, I would have easily hit. I would have wasted all my ammo right there. It would have been like 32 or 31 to 1. So that was the first test. Like when I killed him out of middle, it was over. It was over. And I made a video about it because it was the same time that I hit a 50. It was the same time. It was around the same time I was hitting 50s or able to hit them. Consistent traps. So it was already over by the time I got that second kill on him when I first attacked him in middle, like the first 20 seconds of the video. Yeah, it was over. It was over. He's an idiot. It was over. And after that, bro, I'm like, all right, so the game's technically over in my mind. So after that, I just kind of messed around. I didn't really care after that. But, yeah. So, X-Row, okay, top trapper. But was dumb and couldn't ground game, a liar, but hope he's doing good and has a better way of life. Now, whatever I say was what's shown to be upset or bothered towards yourself. Yeah, you should be bothered towards yourself or upset towards yourself. And yeah, Paxry, yeah, he did. Yeah, I think I said that he faked games. He did. Paxry faked games. L Nuketown L's faked games. Injures fakes games. He faked the game on me that I was just talking about because I didn't agree to it. He tried to, you're trying to, take it from me, and I didn't agree to doing it. I didn't agree to doing it. So to me, that wasn't a for post game. I didn't, like I said, I'm not taking it seriously when I don't agree to it. So you beat someone that you wanted to play, but they didn't play you back. So congratulations. Yeah. But yeah, X-Row, yeah. Like I said, this guy, he was a liar, yeah. The piece of crap. To me, he was good, but he wasn't as good as what I've heard from some of the top players, some of the other people. I don't think he was. I think he was a good trapper. There could have been points where his ground game could have been good. I've seen him play pretty good ground game. I'm not going to lie about that. I'll be pretty critical about this one. Because this one, yeah. I just don't think he was that good, though. As what I think he was very overrated, in my opinion. At least in the ground game spot. Trapping, definitely not one of the best trappers. We're not here to lie. We're not here to have anything against anybody. He was one of the best trappers. He was top 5 at least, I think. Yeah, he had to have been top 5. He had to have been. There's no way that he wasn't. I dare say he could have been top 3 for all I know. He could have been because I know how good he was. I know how good he was. I've heard how good he was. He could have been top 3. Could have been. But I think he was top 5 just to be fair. Because Vaxie was around. I remember Vaxie. There was a few others, whatever. I just think X-Row, he lost a lot of who he was though. So his potential kind of went downhill. This is why I think maybe top 5, not top 3. Because his potential did not last very long. And I think he didn't care that much. I could tell by the way he hit his traps. I could tell by the way he played. He didn't really care. And that can hold you back a lot. I can tell he definitely was another person that had a hard time with his life for whatever reason. But I'm going to cut the video short here because I don't want to sit here and do this all day. I'll resume this another time for sure.